It's 30 days, people. 30 days of doing this daily vlog, and I'm a little torn. Do I keep going? Do I cut things off here? Are we done? I'm going to go a bit longer. We're going to see how this goes. I've enjoyed the responses and the feedback. There's been a few days where I have not been in the biggest mood to vlog, and I think I've been open about that, especially this past week. But as of right now, we're going to keep things going. And since it is 30 days, I thought I'm going to vlog today about something I want to vlog about and not raise this Saturday Shelfie out to a vote. So for today's Saturday Shelfie, I'm going to cover what might be one of the most influential gaming books of my entire gaming career. Something that if this didn't come across my hands in the mid 90s, I don't know where I'd be right now when it comes to my likes and dislikes, because so much came out of this one role-playing game that I know most people I've spoken to have never played. And that would be the Amazing Engine Systems Bughunters. Amazing Engine was TSR's generic role-playing game system in the mid-1990s that came out. The idea was this one single system, and it could run a whole bunch of different games, from fantasy to sci-fi. The settings are all a bit twisted and fun. I have just a few. I think I have 3 on my shelf over there, maybe. The 2 that I've used the most was this one, which I've had hours and hours and hours and hours with this game. But I also have a game called For Fairy, Queen and Country, which was a Victorian fantasy game. It takes place like in England. I only use that one for maps and to populate some of my steampunk stuff that I did for Savage Worlds around 2012 and 13. This is a whole different discussion, though. This game here, I can't talk about it enough. So I'm going to try to keep this kind of like concise, but I'm also going off script today, so we'll see where that goes. I got to read the back cover to you. All right, so here we go. Ready? This is Bughunters, and this is by Lester Smith. Okay, I should note that. Additional design by Tim Brown, Karen Boomgarden, Newton Ewell, Tim Beach, and Colin McComb of the Clan McComb. And edited by John D. Ratcliffe. The cover art is, I'm guessing, Denis Bouvet, or Dennis Bouvet if he lived in Pittsburgh, because in Pittsburgh they can't pronounce French. Interior art by Grant Golish. And the star map and cartography is John Necht. And that's important, because this is probably the most important star map of my gaming career also. So I'm going to read that cover of Bughunters to you, which, by the way, you can get this on DriveThruRPG. And I strongly suggest, if you love science fiction gaming, even if you're not going to run the Bughunters, the Amazing Engine system, this is in your collection. Bughunters. Travel to exotic new worlds, see strange new life forms, and kill them before they kill you. Captain Harley set the ship down in the middle of the colony's main street. Somehow he managed not to land on any of the bodies. I grabbed my medkit and checked my pistol. West was still vainly trying to raise someone on the radio. "Give it up, Stanley," Clifton said as she hefted an assault rifle and popped the hatch. Muggy air invaded the cabin. It bore green odors of the surrounding jungle and an undertone of near decay. Clinton wrinkled her nose, muttered an oath, and hopped out. She crossed the street to the chewed remains of a colonist. A shadow slid toward her. "Look out," I cried. Too late. A thing like a monkey mated with a wasp dropped from the sky and bore her to the ground. She went rigid when it stung her in the throat. Cursing, I took careful aim with my pistol. Bughunters, when you give it the first glance, is straight out of Alien or Aliens. I think that if at the time, that's what drew me to this game. Like many games growing up on Handy Road in Levittown, the neighbor kid Chuck, who was the street's GM, had a copy of this, got it, looked through it, I think he ran it for his some people, but then he wanted rid of it. He didn't want it anymore. So it ended up in my hands somewhere around 1994, I think. And when I read through it, it became, well, heck, it became a game that I probably ran mid 90s as much as D&D for for a bit. I've run a ton of this game, and on the surface, it's aliens. You look at it, you look at the cover, it's aliens, but it's not. It's so much more. It's essentially a mashup of everything great about like 1990s, sorry, 1980 sci-fi, 1990 sci-fi, and 1970s sci-fi. That whole period, that action movie feel, and that weird sci-fi horror, it's all in here. And it even goes and finds clever ways to incorporate it. So, some examples, if I may. So the setting itself, all right, it is the 22nd century, and your character is a sinner, Synner. You are a clone of someone living in a dystopian 22nd century who wants to make a few bucks. And what happens in the 22nd century is this military organization, which it calls itself Utterpuff, ETRPF, and I'm trying to remember. I think it's United Terran Reconnaissance and Planetary Force. I'm looking to see where the definition is, so I have it down right. And United Terra Security. No, that's not it. Where the heck is it? It's like one time in here. I can't find it now. Now it's embarrassing that I don't know where it is. I'm just flipping. Okay, United Terror Reconnaissance and Peacekeeping Force. All right, I was close. So they need soldiers. They need strong soldiers. So for the off-world colonies. So they go and they hire people to give their genetic material. When those people give their genetic material for these clones are made that have all of the memories of their past selves. So for them, they just walked into this clinic, gave DNA, and the next thing you know, they're a soldier. But they're forcefully conscripted at that point. They're property of the government, and they have to go off these far-flung worlds, and they have to fight, and most often die. And this is a dirty, grimy future. The ships don't work that great. They're damp. The coolant systems suck. It essentially, it's aliens. And what they're fighting can be any kind of thing from from ancient robotic technology to xenomorph-like creatures. Actually, the underlying story behind the campaign is that there was these two types of ancient aliens that were in a species that were at war with each other. One was very tech-heavy, and one was very biologically heavy. So, if you like StarCraft, think a bit of Protoss versus Zerg. But they're all mostly dead. But what the remains of the wars that they fought are left behind. And depending on which alien life form or which alien was dominant on a world, you might find a different type of ancient artifacts or remnants there. If you find the ones that were, they're called the artificers, that built great technology, well, you might have all of these spiders running around like the movie Runaway that will inject you with acid. If you are dealing with a world, I think with the collectors, I think maybe. Now I'm looking. I can't quite remember. I can't remember. The other one, the other species, the shapers or something like that. Maybe there were shapers. I think there were shapers. Yeah. If you find the shapers, well, they might have something that's more along. They're called hellhounds in this book. They're more along the lines of xenomorphs from aliens, and you're fighting them. And then the book does give you a lot of opportunity to go back to Earth and have to deal with the fact that maybe you want to see your wife or something, or you want to see your children. You still have the same memories and belief and feelings you had for them when you were turned into a clone. So maybe that you want to go AWOL, and that's part of it. There was so much opportunity for this book. When we would play this as kids, how we would play it is, first off, it was almost always a bug hunt. The party was almost always getting together. They were all this Space Marine feeling, and they would, there are different specializations in here. So instead of classes, you have jobs that you can take on, MSOs, military service occupations, based on your scores. So for the Marines, because they were always Marines, it was squad leader, radio operator, medic, scout, heavy weapons expert, demolitions expert, and grunt. So whenever we play, the crew would get together, my friends would get together, and they would bring their characters. And I remember for most of it, they would always have a medic and a radio operator and a scout and a demolitions expert. And we had a few friends that would drop by that would come as squad leader or heavy weapons expert. And there's a whole rank system and rank points you can gain to boss your friends around. And each one gets different weapons, and the weapons are anything from your typical assault rifle that's firing like flechettes, which are tiny little dart shotgun capsules, which don't work. If you watch videos on YouTube of flechettes, they don't do crap. You either have the assault rifles, or maybe you have the what's it called? You have this thing called a howler, which is like a chain gun, or maybe a flamethrower. And then the mission, I would always draw these elaborate maps in school on graph paper, always ending in some kind of reactor core. Whatever was going to happen, it happened in a reactor core. And in the end, usually the reactor core plus grenades plus alien equals boom. That was really the majority of the plot. That was what was kind of cool about this game. So often it was just, I'd take one of these aliens, throw it in a maze, like we were talking, like it was like a Minotaur deal, and they'd have to hunt this alien down while it hunted them, and that would be the night. And it was simple, and it was just fun, and it was just a really great time. And then they plot out where they were going to go next, because they had spaceships. And while there are spaceships in here, and the book actually does a really cool job. Let me show you this picture off here. If I can find it. Oh, crud. So the inside of the ships are like this, right? And they can piece together. So what you really should do, and I've done this, is you photocopy a bunch of these sheets, and then you glue a spaceship together. It's a different kind of configurations. So was it kind of simplistic? A little bit. Was it fun? Sure as heck was. But we used to draw our own spaceships, and that would be their ships. And they were all very heavily inspired by the video games I was playing at the time that inspired my Bughunters, and that was the Wing Commander series. So oftentimes, my Bughunters campaign looked a lot like flying Wing Commander style starships towards alien worlds and dealing with things via aliens. And the map, gosh, this is a cool map. I love this map. The map for Bughunters by Colin McComb. See the map. Was an actual star chart of like all the nearest stars to Earth. By each block is a light year, and it was realistic and accurate. Pretty accurate, I think. I mean, just having my hands on this, map. You can kind of see to my right. This is the alternative map of the Verge for Star Drive, and I got a lot of the same feel out of this map with this one. But with this map, you've got stars like Tau Ceti and Delta Pavonis, and you can go to Barnard Star, or you can go Wolf 359, or you can go to Alpha Centauri. It's all in here. So love this map. The culmination of my bug huntersing in the 90s came with the movie Independence Day, because when Independence Day was coming out, we hadn't seen it yet, but we heard the buzz, and my bug hunters friends, we all got freaked out for this movie, and we all had all of these special Bug Hunters overnighters over the course of several months. We'd go to my friend TJ's house and we'd play all night and design ships all night and just get ready for this, what was going to be an amazing movie. And we led the campaign in the direction of the aliens that are out there, in that they came back. One of the alien forces, I think it was the Shapers. They were coming back, and they were going to take over Earth. And that was we did an all-nighter like culmination where the aliens took over Earth, and they had to do a fighting retreat. And the next phase of the campaign was supposed to be them fighting back against the aliens in more of an open conflict, less of a the more clandestine, where they're just fighting one or two at a time, or they're being hunted on star bases. It was supposed to be them like in some epic battle. And I think that was the last time I played Bug Hunters in high school, was around that time of Independence Day coming out. We saw the movie. We went to see it multiple times. I loved Independence Day. And yeah, things kind of fizzled from there. I think because the allure of doing these big open battles with aliens was never as strong as that in the maze, in the jungle, hunting down aliens and being hunted. That once that horror aspect kind of went away, the desire to play it kind of diminished. I jumped the shark. I really did. That was a fantastic night. It was so much fun. I mean, one of the player characters was like piloting a spaceship because he could, like flying cover. The rest were on a mission trying to defend the star base as the aliens were invading it. That was a lot of fun. But that capped our campaign. And I ran the game in college a good bit with the Amazing Engine system. Through 1997, I ran a few one-shots. I wrote a lot for this. I really was in the end, I ended up with more fiction and more campaign design for Amazing Engine in 97 than I had anything I written myself for AD&D second edition. However, I had starship designs, I redid weapons and all kinds of stuff. When Alternity came out, that became my new sci-fi love, was Alternity, and I kind of shifted away from this simple, short, 128-page book to a whole line of sci-fi. The last thing I'll say of why this book was so influential to me was because of the reading list in the back. In the back of Bug Hunters, there is a list of books to read. There is, and what I had read from this was Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep by Philip K. Dick, The Forever War by Joe Haldeman. I would go on to read Forever Peace and Forever Free. It had Heinlein's Starship Troopers, which I read and loved that book. I didn't get any of it until I was older, though. And then John Stakely's Armor. And then there's a lot more than that, but that's what I had read. And then movies, Abyss, Aliens, Alien 3, Blade Runner, Deep Star 6, Leviathan. Oh, Leviathan's a great movie. Peter Weller. If you haven't seen Leviathan, go see Leviathan. Predator 2, Runaway, the TV series. So good. So anyway, this is long. I ranted. I'm sorry. I know that it helps when I have more of a, like a script to go off of. But I just wanted to love me some Bug Hunters this morning, and I wanted to choose what we were talking about. So that's what I have. If you've played Bug Hunters or any of the other Amazing Engine games, leave a comment. Let's talk about that a little bit. There was a Metamorphosis Alpha to Omega. That was the Metamorphosis Alpha, remaster, recut. That was definitely one of the Amazing Engine games. There was the one where it was all about tabloids. There were a few of them, and that system was wonk as hell, But I liked the gaming, and it was just one of those examples that a really good setting, could really, really, really make or break a campaign. In this case, make it. At the time, I didn't know of any other sci-fi setting. Like for the 90s, it was D&D, ElfQuest, and Amazing Engine Bug Hunters. Those were my games. If you were playing with me, we were playing one of those three games. I didn't know of anything else until I went to college and discovered there were other games out there. Maybe if it wasn't this, it would have been Shadowrun, or maybe it would have been MechWarrior, but I'm really, really happy it was this. And I think it definitely, those experiences down in the mazes, you know, throwing frag grenades around reactor cores. Yeah, I think there's still a lot of that in my gaming. All right, so have a great day. Enjoy your weekend, and I will see you all tomorrow night on the Living for Crits Twitch stream with Evie. Take care.